Tonight, we speak exclusively with Governor of Ondo State, Rotimi Akeredolu, on very crucial matters on the state of the nation, and we get his interventions on some of the state of the nation. And also, the over 40 days of ASUU indefinite strike action gets our attention. What is the way out, and when are the universities' classrooms going to be reopened? Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimalo in Abuja. Let's get started, everyone. It is 42 days since the Association of the University Lecturers, ASUU, began its nationwide indefinite strike action. And we at Channels Television are focused on how these lingering strike action will be resolved and the students will get back to their classrooms. The students, of course, idle as we speak. Finding a lasting solution to the impasse is 42 days since that indefinite strike action. We are hoping that all parties involved will come to the table and resolve this stand-up for the sake of the students. It is a dent for our education system in Nigeria. Now, we begin with tonight the start story of an attack on an INF facility in Enugu State. An office of the Independent National Electrical Commission, INEC in Enugu State, has been set ablaze by yet to be identified arsonists. This development was confirmed in a brief statement by INEC's National Commissioner on Information and Voter Education, Mr. Festus Okoye. Mr. Okoye disclosed that the resident electoral commissioner for Enugu State, Mr. Emeka Ononamadu, reported that INEC's Ugboeze North Local Government Area Office had been burned down. According to the reg, the attack happened at about 11:48 p.m. on Sunday night, the 3rd of July. From the attack on the INEC office in Enugu to the State House of Assembly in Bauchi State, there was an unusual presence of security operatives earlier today at the Bauchi State House of Assembly complex in the state capital. This comes 3 days after 22 aggrieved members of the Assembly passed a vote of no confidence on the leadership of the House and asked them to resign or be impeached. An aide to the governor of the state says that the presence of the security operatives in the Assembly is necessary in a bid to prevent a breakdown of law and order after an attempt by hoodlums to set the complex ablaze. Well, so much to talk about. Our conversation will begin with the governor of Ondo State. But before we get talking about some of these crucial national issues, let's check out some of your political roundup stories.
A delegation from the House of Representatives has visited some communities in Plateau State on a fact-finding mission following security breaches that led to loss of lives and property in the affected areas. The Enugu State Governor, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, is reiterating his commitment to efficient administration and speedy dispensation of justice for the benefit of the citizens of the state. The governor was speaking during the commissioning of a new state customary court of appeal headquarters constructed by his administration as part of its transformation agenda in the state judiciary.
We've also continued to support the capacity improvement of our judicial officers through annual capacity building trainings and attendance to conferences, workshops to up-to-date their knowledge and skills.
The National Working Committee of the PDP is driving a campaign to mobilize eligible voters to get registered and vote in 2023. The campaign is tagged Operation Get Your PVCs. National Women Leader of the PDP, who is leading the campaign along with other members of the National Working Committee, notes that votes will count, saying the PDP believes strongly that the introduction of electronic transmission of results will make the votes count. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, has called on Nigerians to take the registration and collection of permanent voters' cards more seriously, as it is the civic duty of all citizens who have attained the voting age of 18 years. Honorable Gbajabiamila, who was represented by the lawmaker representing Ningi Iwariji Federal Constituency of Bauchi State, gave the advice at Itemamegu in Ikwo local government area of Ebonyi State during the handing over of some empowerment items donated by the lawmaker representing Ikweza Federal Constituency in the Green Chamber. Honorable Chinedu Oga. The Cross River State chapter of the People's Democratic Party has presented Ms. Emana Ambrose Amawe as its deputy governorship candidate for the 2023 governorship election. Presenting her to the party excos and party members at the PDP Secretariat in Calabar, the governorship candidate, Professor Sandy Ono, noted that the choice of Emana as his running mate followed due consideration and acceptability by all.
This princess is also a princess of the Kwo kingdom we got to find. She is double-barreled in many respects. She has the momentum. She has the vision. She has the resilience. She has the character.
Ahead of the July 17 deadline given by the Independent National Electoral Commission for political parties to finalize submission of the lists of their candidates for the 2023 general elections, the Tinubu Support Organization in Kaduna State has endorsed Governor Nasiru El-Rufai of Kaduna State as a suitable running mate to the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Tinubu. The group made the endorsement at the press conference in Kaduna today.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Now, tonight, the few issues that we're going to take up tonight, from the issue of the judiciary to security to party, political party matters, and in fact, 2003 election and the choice before Nigerians. Tonight, I'm being joined by the Executive Governor of Ondo State, Governor Rotimi Akeredolu, who joins us virtually live from Akure, the Ondo State capital. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight. Let me get a quick update from you on the situation, the sad story. I mean, this is the first time I'm speaking with you. I must commiserate with the people of Ondo State and our people over the attack on the Catholic Church the other day. And let's get talking from that moment. I mean, I know that you've given an order that all public and private institutions must now install CCTV. What is the latest as far as investigations are concerned and the situation? What more do we know as far as that attack on that Catholic Church in Owo is concerned?
Thank you. As I've said over and over, that was an incident that one want to put behind him, but I know this cannot go quickly. We are still on the track of the perpetrators, and we are yet seriously to make serious headway, and that is for many reasons. These people usually disappear into forests, and from there migrate to other states. And a number of times, also it's very difficult for competent hands in the security to pursue them to other states outside their own area of operation. So, like our security outfit, like Amotekun, will not go to Edo. Maybe if we are migrating between Ekiti and Osun, we can have a working relationship that will all go together. But we are still on their trail, and hopefully we'll still get them.
I mean, we understand that there was an arrest made by Amotekun Corps in Ondo State. What is the latest on that? Has that been worked upon? Is there any prosecution? Have they been handed to the police?
Well, no. Amotekun, I listened to the commander of Amotekun. There was no time he made categorical statement about arrests. What he said was very clear, that they were on the trail of the perpetrators, and they virtually got one of the vehicles they used and some telephone, which they have handed over to the SSS for analysis, and they know what to do with the telephone and who to contact or screen the phone. This is the best we have for now. And there was never a time he said they made arrests. It was very clear as to what happened, that they were on the trail, they ran, they found out that they abandoned a vehicle, and the vehicle was shown to the public, and that they had evidence here and there, and this was handed over to SSS to carry out the required analysis and follow-up. This is the best I can say for now.
Give us an understanding, because from the trail of these dangerous and very despicable men who carried out this attack, of course, it's perhaps going to be easy to at least know from where they went from the Catholic Church, and perhaps how their motorcycles or vehicles they used for the attack, where it went and how, their exit point. What more can you tell us as far as that concerned? Because the federal government had come to say it was done by ISWAP. But we've also heard from governors from the Southwest to say that is speculative.
Well, I reacted to that almost immediately, because I had asked, what evidence do they have? It's important for you to let us know, because they were too quick. The security agents were too quick to jump to that conclusion that it was done by ISWAP. But whatever it is, we stand by the position that it's a trilogy that is operating in our forests and causing havoc. You just have Fulani X-men right in front, followed by these bandits, and again ISWAP. So the three of them work together and they work separately. So we are not people who will buy the idea that maybe it's ISWAP or is the bandits or terrorists or is Fulani X-men. We have been facing, at least in Ondo State, we have faced terrorism from the three, whether they are bandits or Fulani X-men of ISWAP, they work together. So I don't know how you want to separate them. I don't know, except you have concrete evidence to say, and our contention is that ISWAP, most times, if not all the time, they take responsibility for the action. So when they do things, they say, we have done it. They take pride in what we're on this heinous crime. So I expect that if ISWAP has done this all this while, it will have come up and own up. But some of us have our fears that it's not ISWAP, and we do not agree with that position, because the security agents were just too quick to jump as ISWAP. And we believe that it's a trilogy that is running circle around us here on security matters, and we just have to work at all of them together.
This is not the first time that the attention of leaders in the Southwest have been drawn to the security situation around the forests and the bushes of the Southwest region. In fact, Afenifere as an organization has raised the alarm. There are infiltration. You have also said it, and there was a time that you sent out a strong warning to those who are operating illegally in the forest, and there are contestation over the laws that are guiding our forest, and which you made very clear as a senior advocate of Nigeria, your position on the operation of persons who are not licensed to operate in the forest. But can you tell us, Governor Akeredolu, tonight, are the forests in the Southwest region now be preoccupied or being taken over by these elements, these dangerous terrorist elements?
Well, we do not want to fight shy of saying the truth all the time. we know of a fact that we have vast, very vast forests. And unfortunately, these elements you refer to, these terrorists or the theology, they occupy these forests. Some claim in search of fertile area to feed their herds. But if you want to feed your herds, you do not have to carry an AK-47. And if there is rustling and somebody has taken away your herds, it's not for you to resort to criminality. These are the things we are saying is happening, and we know it. But no doubt, because of the vastness of our forest reserve, we know that they are able to hibernate.
There seems to be a frozen frame of the connection with Governor Akeredolu. I'm very sure that will unfreeze any moment and we'll be able to hear Governor Akeredolu again. So, Governor, the connection is true now, you can continue.
It's taking us, and it's going to take us time to clear the forest. But if you don't have state police as we don't have now, and we are not in control of the security apparatus, we are going to continue to run into problems. This is the problem we're having.
So, what lessons from what has happened in Owo up until the circumstances and what you and your colleagues in the Southwest, the alarm that you have raised over the years, what lessons are you taking away from the incidents of the past days?
Well, the incidents of past almost a month now, because it happened on the 5th, and this is the 4th of July. So it's almost a month. It happened on the 5th of June. Now, what we have learned really is that we must now take security more seriously. And in doing that one had led to us issuing the executive order on CCTV in all public gatherings, churches, mosques, supermarkets, and everywhere. And I said, everybody must ensure that you have security men both at the where ingress and egress of any public place. Those when coming in and when coming out, you must have security guards there. It doesn't cost that much to maintain security guards. Now, and we have called on our traditional rulers that, look, we must all be ready to rise up to defend our land and defend our people. And what do I mean by that? And what I really mean by that is that, look, you don't fold your hand and say, people are coming and you are running away. No. If they bring a fight to you, then fight them back. There's no way to run away from it. And that's why when I had my brother in Zamfara, who said people should carry arms, not license people to carry arms, well, it might be to a bit of extreme measure. But when you are pushed to the wall, there's nothing else you can say. So what we have learned really is that our people cannot afford to stay back or lay back as if you are lazy people. We are not lazy. We are indomitable people in spirit and in everything, and nobody can dominate us. So when we believe that and strongly act that, fight these people back. If they come, push them inside of the forest, and if whosoever has the higher hand will survive. So for us, one of the things we have learned is that we have to be careful about those who are around us, and we have to be alert. If people are very alert, no doubt, people will see strange people moving on the street, and you can quickly deduce what they're after. So people have to be very alert, and when incidents like this happen, don't run into your house. Go ahead and confront it. Yes, people might lose their lives, which is unfortunate, but if you confront it, hardly will they go away. They cannot get out of it. So we have learned a few things, and for instance, we are trying to at least increase the number of men in Amotekun, and we have no option, and have them with more vehicles and have more patrol on every street, particularly Sundays, Fridays, when times of worship are near supermarkets and co. We have more people patrolling. So those are the things we are trying to do. Those are the lessons we have learned, that we cannot afford to run away. We must be prepared to confront this challenge. It's a big challenge. Government will try its best, but people, that's why we told our Obas, the people must come out. You cannot run away and say you are afraid. It's criminal. It will be criminal for you to run away and say you are afraid. To me, it's cowardice. We cannot afford that.
For some of us who have rural living experience and how the local communities operate under the leadership of the traditional rulers, the Obas in the Yoruba land and the southwest region of the country, or some Yoruba-speaking communities in the north-central region of the country, there are, in fact, chiefs who are in charge of security. Some of them are called Ashikpa. Some of them are called different names. They are in charge of the security arm of the rulership. So when we wonder, you're speaking directly to these people, but in what area are you thinking of arming these people? Because they're going to be faced with the firepower of this criminal element, who we understand are being funded and are being supported, and they are heavily armed. These are the kind of people that our military and security agencies been fighting for the last several years. So the question is, are you arming them? What are the defense mechanisms that this traditional rulership or the traditional communities are going to have to defend themselves?
Sheung, let me tell you, we do know the limitations of the traditional council or the obas or the towns, even the limitations of Amotekun. That is the around security agency. We know there are limitations which have been imposed by a pervert federalism. And some of us are saying that something is definitely wrong with the federalism we are running. We must be prepared to face up to it. We cannot, for instance, operate one command and say a police command that has its command right in Abuja can police this country very well. It is not possible. Let us be fair to ourselves. So why don't we work? I knew that the National Assembly tried. I don't know what happened. It failed. Why don't we work at having state police? And the state police, in that wise, will be properly armed. The state will have no option to ensure that they are armed. Now, we have the security network, the Western Regional Security Network, which is Amotekun. And limitations have been put on our way that, okay, prohibited ammunitions, they cannot carry. Otherwise, those who are coming to attack us are even carrying more than prohibited. They are carrying military ammunitions, so powerful. So, but in spite of that, because of courage, because, as I said, those of us from this part of the country are not afraid. Because of our courage, our people are ready, even with their bare hand, to face them. Whatever happens, they will still confront them. So now, thinking about equipping the traditional forces or we call Ashikpa, whatever name we call them, thinking about equipping them is not something we can say now, because it's not easy. But we believe that they still have some powers, whatever you want, whatever we like, we call it. Even if they are going with a shakabula, we call it shakabula, and they will still be able to confront them. It's not for us because we don't have the same ammunition. So we run into our rooms and they come or go into the churches or go into the mosque and wait for them to come and kill us there. No, we will confront them in that forest. And whatever we use is not for us to discuss here in the open. We will confront them.
That sounds like some words of courage there against and resistance against these very terrible human beings who have lost their souls to the devil. But I know your colleague governor from Zamfara State has said people should carry arms. But I'd like to get, we're talking to a senior advocate of Nigeria. Under Nigerian laws, what do you make of this statement? And you are also being pushed to the wall in some way, and you are now saying people should stand up against these people. Do we get to the point that, now you've said that whatever it demands or whatever you have or your people have, we use in confronting these people. Under the law, what do you make about arming people, Nigerians, getting registered arms against these elements?
Well, under the law, I know that it's a bit restrictive, and we are restricted because we are running, as I said, a pervert federalism. This is not the way it's done. It's not the way. And it's not for the states to be castrated and totally powerless the way things are now. But you see, when you now talk about getting your people armed, these are arms and ammunition you have to get a license to hold. My brother in Matawale in Zamfara said the commissioner of police should issue license. The commissioner of police is not that simple. He cannot just give license out. Those who had some measure of ammunition, some time passed, they asked them to bring it back to the police station. The licenses were withdrawn. So how many people the commissioner of police even as is restricted in the manner of ammunition he could even issue license for? At times you have to get to the NSA and get his approval to issue licenses. So I said, what we have now, when the challenges we have faced, if care is not taken, those who are fighting us are how they get the ammunition, nobody is so clear. If care is not taken, the governors and some governments will force to also adopt that means and get ammunition for their people to fight them back, because there is no other way to solve this problem. There's no other way.
Governor Akeredolu, you are a governor. You understand some of this problem. You being as a member of the inner bar, you understand the problems of our law. But what could be the solution? It does look like the nation itself is being pushed to the wall, and it does look like the state is also more or less powerless in the face of this challenge. How do we get out of it? What is the immediate solution that we need to be seeking right now?
So that's all I said. I said it that the state is castrated. The state is totally powerless, totally. And for me, there's no solution to this except we get our priorities right. What we should prioritize as a nation today is state police. And let the state police be well armed. The state will have to spend a lot of their money in harming their own police. And they have a duty to protect their people. It's the only solution. How else do we solve this? Let us be fair to ourselves. How else? So we will be here, we'll run a security outfit. They can't carry some arms and ammunition. So how do you defend yourself? How? And as you know, people will tell you, Amotekun has been doing some serious work all over the Western Nigeria. We are trying. But the point is that it will have been more effective if, for instance, they can carry no matter, and there's no limit to the arms and ammunition they can carry. And the only way is for us to get this law out of place. The people in the National Assembly and Co. they have a duty to do it. And it's the only way we can protect ourselves. The police today is overstretched for now. They don't have men, they don't have ammunition, they have no vehicles, they have nothing. Every other thing the state must provide. So, and you provide is not enough. So what are we doing? So that's where I see it. There is no other solution. Let's be fair to ourselves. State police is one of the things we must pursue now so that we can get where we are going.
All right. Stay with me, Governor Akeredolu, because we're not yet done with our conversation with you. We'll take a break now, and when we come back, there are a lot more to talk with Governor Akeredolu. And of course, later on, after the conversation with the Executive Governor of Ondo State, we will be speaking with the President of ASUU on the lingering strike. The students are being home. How do we end these face-off with the federal government? Stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. The Executive Governor of Ondo State, Governor Worrisome has been speaking with us before we went on that break. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for staying with us on the program. Let me take you into party matters.
My great pleasure.
Just recently, the presidential candidate of your party, former Governor of Lagos State, Bola Tinubu, said he's still in search of a running mate. And the question will be, how difficult is it to find a running mate? Perhaps for those who are saying, who are debating already, that a religious balancing and consideration has to be made. A Muslim ticket might not be appropriate at this time. What are your thoughts?
Well, the first question you ask is, how difficult? I ran election, and I ran twice. And I can confess here that I made the wrong choice of the deputy the first time. So that has shown me that it's a difficult thing to pick the right person to run with. It's something that you must give a thought to. And a number of times you want to involve your party, you want to listen to everybody before you take a final decision. I don't believe it's something you jump at readily and say, yes, I've picked a vice president, that somebody that I will work with. So it's a very difficult thing. I remember my last election, when I won the primaries, a number of people came, and even at the hierarchy of the party, and said, "Oh, we have to pick them." I said, "You will pick deputy for me, sir. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. The one I picked, I have a lot of regret. So why don't I now make this other one? Nobody will pick for me." So I know that our presidential candidate is something he must take very seriously, because a number of factors are to be considered. And the factors are the ones you have mentioned. A number of people are there talking about, oh, you must run a Muslim-Christian ticket. A number of people have come, it could be a Muslim, it will be tolerable. So there are a lot of factors to be considered. So I do not see any reason why it should be in a rush. There's a time limit by 17th or so, or before 17th or so. I don't know what time the INEC has said. So why don't you take your time and make the right choice so that you don't regret it? It's not something you can do all the time. If you make the choice now before the close of time, then that's your choice. You can't change it again. So I believe it's not something that you take lightly. It's something that you must consult, something you will yourself debate, something at times you take to your whatever you believe to God, to Allah, to anybody you want to take to for guidance. And I believe that that is what he's trying to do. There's nothing wrong in it.
So, I mean, in your own thinking now, for those who have said, I remember the first time you wanted to be governor of Ondo State, a lot of people said, oh, he's an outsider. He's been a lawyer all his life. You failed it the first time, then you came back and you won. So you are an experienced politician as much as anyone wants to debate. So in your own thinking, Governor Akeredolu, what do you think ASUU Bola Tinubu must consider right now to get it right, considering the present political temperature, the present national temperature, and of course, the issue of competition amongst the other competitors on the ground that will be on the bill?
Well, you have said it. I want to say the circumstance in which Ashadu Ahmed Tinubu has found himself now. There's a mayor of what I would call ground wetting. For instance, he will not pick from the south. So he's left to make a choice from the north. Because he's from the south, he won't pick from the south. That means he won't pick from southeast. And because he's from southwest, he has to pick from the north. And you see, when you look at the north, a lot of factors will have to come into play. Some of us some will say, you can pick from northwest. Others will say about northwest. That's where the president now is from. So would they have a second bite, whether as rice or as anything? Some will argue, why don't you pick from northeast? That is that's a factor to be considered. Others can argue, but why don't you pick from north central? Then the factor to be considered is, okay, where do you get votes? So many factors. I mean, as you said, I ran election twice, and the 2 times I ran, this is my second time of winning. The first one that I lost, this other one that I won. My contention was very clear. Now look, when you look at all these factors, you must be clear in your mind what you want to do. I came from a central district in the north. I was determined to pick, and the 2 times I won, the 3 elections I ran, I picked my deputy from the south, south and central district. So in this circumstance now, a leader probably is left with north central and northeast, probably. But I know anything, so many factors can come to play. So in determining who you pick, at the end of the day, you want to look at loyalty. Will this person be loyal, or will he be there to undermine you? Those are issues you have to consider very seriously. Particularly those of us who have gone through, who have had such bitter experience with deputies that at the end of the day decide to undermine you. You will know that, look, it's a serious sin when you get to a point in which somebody you have trusted decided to betray you. It's not an easy thing. So those are the factors you have to consider. And when people talk about whether it's Muslim, Christian, here and there, you don't know, you must consider the person running for that election. What would be his own benefit? Or who do you think would benefit him more? So for me as a person, where we are now with Ashadu Bola Ahmed Tinubu is for him to personally take a decision whom he can trust, and all of us to give him the support. That's all.
All right. On a final note, and quickly, Governor, as a member of the inner bar, the circumstance to the exit of the CJN, Honorable Justice Tanko Muhammad, and the coming of Honorable Justice Ariwola, of course, we understand that those circumstances and the reasons being given, but are you worried about what became an unusual voicing out of frustration of the Honorable Justices of the Supreme Court in the protest, and what this means for our judiciary? We just have about 60 seconds to the end of this conversation, if you may intervene quickly.
Thank you. So I take this issue, what happened in America. For the first time in the issue of the Supreme Court, the judgment of the Supreme Court leaked on ways and rule. So a number of circumstances can give rise to, things that you say are abnormal. So if judges or justices have to voice their mind out, and my understanding really is that the way they did it was to consult with the former Chief Justice of Nigeria. It was not they never made it public. And I think the mistake came from the former Chief Justice, who now thought maybe maybe the best form of defense attack. And they now gave to people to write on letters that were made personal to you by your colleagues. It's colleagues. It can say, and I'm saying so because I know of a fact that the justices of the Supreme Court at no time made this thing public. It was made public, unfortunately, by the former or by aides to the former CJN, Chief Justice of Nigeria, who took advantage of his position. And I want to say with all respect to him and to others, they took advantage of his state of health. And all of us have always been saying, so that look, we're not too sure what is happening here. What is happening here to my Lord Chief Justice? So they took advantage of his state of health, and unfortunately, he blew out. And the circumstances that led to his going is for the benefit of the judiciary and for his own benefit too. So I don't see, yes, judges, justices are to be seen and not heard. Yes, they did go to the press to go and make an announcement. So if somebody has now decided to make an announcement of what his colleagues discussed with him or his colleagues wrote to him, then he is the one to take whatever came out of it.
Governor Worrisome, always a pleasure talking to you. I still have a lot more to talk about. We are bothered about this ASUU matter, and I need to speak with the ASUU president tonight.
Thank you.
But thank you so much, Governor Akeredolu, for talking to us tonight. It's a pleasure.
My pleasure always. My pleasure always, Sean. My pleasure.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. So let's switch gears now and speak about the state of education in Nigeria. It is worrisome for parents, guardians, and those who have their wards and students who are at home idle. From the 22nd of May this year, ASUU began an indefinite strike action because, according to them, the federal government is not willing to shift grounds and listen to their demands. Now, this means that most of the public or the universities owned by the federal government are under lock and keys, and the lecturers are not in the classroom. Let's begin Professor Emmanuel Oshodeke, who is the president of the Association of the Staff Union of the University. Thank you so much, Prof, for talking to us. Nigerians are not happy. Things are getting out of hand. As far as your job to teach these students are concerned, what is happening? What can you tell us? What is the latest? Is the federal government talking to you, or is the situation the same since the 22nd of May when you began this indefinite strike action?
Thank you very much. The strike actually started in February, 14th February. First of all, it was a 4 weeks rolling strike. And for those 4 weeks, they did to us. We had 8 weeks. Another 8 weeks added to when they addressed the issue. They also did not take it seriously until we now started this 12-week strike. And they set up a committee headed by Emeritus Professor Nimi Briggs to negotiate with us on behalf of the federal government. And we had meeting with them, about 4 meetings, and we concluded the negotiation on the 16th of June, 2022. That's about 3 weeks ago. And they indicated that they were going to meet their principal, which is the government, to look at the issue, what we have, the draft agreement, and give the permission to sign. Now today is 4th of July, and they've not come back. That is why it is lingering.
So where are we at? Let's take 2 or 3 of this matter, and quickly, if you can hit the nail on the head. On the issue of IPs and your own platform, have you agreed on the wage payment platform that is suitable?
It's still the same idea of wasting Nigerian time, wasting our children's time. You recall, this idea of testing started in January 2020, and it was subjected to a test where they said their own, is scored 77%, subjected to end user test, is scored 94%, and they said it did not pass. So we met with them and said we should come back again for the test, which we did, And when they finished, this of both sides now being president, because what happened was that the leaders seem not to understand what a university is and the different components of a university. And when they finished the test, it scored 99.3%. And they still went ahead to say it did not pass, 99.3%. And that we should come up again and test the three solutions, the UTAS, IPPIS, and U3PPS, which they completed just last week, and we are waiting for their result. So that is where we are on that. But for more education, you cannot compare the two.
So as far as you're concerned, that platform, the wage payment, salary payment platform that you created is good to go, but the federal government is not willing to use it. Is that the situation?
That is exactly where we are. You see, these IPs they were using for over now, since 2008 to today, was never tested. And the implication is very clear to the country today. If you look at the report of the Auditor General of the Federation in 2009, all the inadequacies of IPs were highlighted, were indicated, fraud, all sorts of things. And it did not make this, as far as the country is concerned, they didn't say let's stop it and examine it. Also recall that the head of service said that IPs erroneously captured about 30,000 people into Federation account between 2010 and today, and that they are coming, they have cleaned it. When you put 30,000 workers who are not workers legally into the system, you know how much this country would have spent. And we still said it is still continue using it. And we have developed a homegrown situation. That was produced for Nigeria by World Bank in 2006. Now we have a homegrown, developed by your own academics, that you should be proud of. And if you one or two adequacies, you look at how to address it and use it for the country and stop paying so much money to foreign countries. Hard currencies.
All right, Prof. Let me take up a few more issues. That's on one hand. But quickly, can you tell us, is federal government owing any of your workers, any of the university lecturers, and how many months, if they are?
They are owing us. We are just entered the 5th month of without salary, the 5th month. And then this so-called, they say they pay the consequential adjustment of minimum wage that they paid to all workers in 2019, 2020, has still not been paid. When we were making this issue, they quickly went on air that we have paid it. But I can tell you today, as we are speaking, the University of Agriculture has never been, nobody in the University of Agriculture has been paid. Even in the other university that they said they tell people, they just pick a number of people and paid and left the rest. You see, that is what they thought. They thought using hunger.
So is it because of the crisis that they've not paid? Is it because of the strike? Or is it because of the lingering issue of payment procedure that has caused the delay in the 5 months of non-payment of this salary? And if this is happening, is it general? Is it across board that these university lecturers have not been paid for 5 months?
For the 5th month we are entering now, they say it's no work, no pay. So for us, if they don't pay, it's also clear, it will be no pay, no work. Because in the university lecturing, in the universities, whenever you call off your strike, you go back to where you stop work and start teaching from there until you cover up to date. But if they say they will not pay, we will leave the backlog where we stop and start on a new session where we should be.
So now, because we need to wrap up quickly. Now, I'd like to know, for Nigerians who are watching, because the federal government has consistently blamed ASUU, that it has done all it can in its powers to fulfill all its obligations, albeit a few things here and there that needs to be done, but ASUU is not willing to shift grounds. Aside the payment platform, what do you think is a most important element in all of this negotiation that you think is very important for you to resume work?
We challenge the government, the federal government, to name one of the issues for which they have provided any solution to this strike started. From the issue of revitalization fund, where they are owing 2 tranches, the issue of renegotiation of 2009 agreement, also have renegotiated in 2012, have they finished? Have they signed? The issue of proliferation of university, have the law been passed to stop it? Or the issue of a vision panel, that the panel, after 11 years, instead of 5, a panel was set up and they gave report. Last year, March last year, had the white paper be released? So these are the questions we need to ask the government. You see, it's not just going to start talking and deceiving the Nigerian public. They should mention one of the items for which we are on strike that they have implemented since the strike started 5 months ago? As journalists, I think you should ask them to name one. So the Minister of Labour and Employment.
We have asked them. We had a few weeks ago, before your strike began, we had the Minister of Labour on this program, and we had these. It was a heated conversation with him because, on behalf of the Nigerian people, I mean, sometimes we get emotional, not because we wanted to, but because of the interest of those who cannot fight for themselves or who do not have a voice. As far as the two parties are concerned, ASUU and federal government, I think what is more paramount for Nigerians and those students who have bargained with the universities that they go and earn a degree or learn at a given time, but they have extended period of learning, which is unfair to them as far as the situation is concerned. What we are concerned here is how ASUU and if the federal government will shift ground and make sure that this strike ends. What commitment can you give us and to Nigerians, millions of them that are watching tonight, on behalf of ASUU, when do you think, in your own mind, do you think this strike can end? And how much of ground shifting can you do?
Let me also ask the Nigerian people, including my dear friend, Chibaloye, what do we want as a country? We should just keep on graduating people, whether they have knowledge or not, or we want people who will pass through university and go out with appropriate knowledge to work in various sections in the world, in the country and the world. What do we want? Just produce them, allow them to stay 4 years and then move away with knowledge. Somebody doing engineering does not have any practical component. Really computer science, no computer component. Is that what we want as a country? Why are foreign students not coming to Nigeria as we are going out? Why are foreign lecturers not coming to teach in Nigeria? Why are those privileged Nigerians that have access to our Commonwealth? Why are they not putting their children in Nigerian university? That is the question we should ask. What we are doing is for the benefit of Nigeria as a country, the benefit of the world, and the benefit of those children and their parents, because we want them to go out with good quality education. We want a situation where the child of a driver can sit in the same classroom as the child of a minister to have lecture and have practicals. That is what we want. And we will fight for it.
So when do you think that this strike could end? Just in 10 seconds. We need to close now, Prof.
Hello?
Say that again. Sorry.
I said what we want is for Nigerian children. You can go around. I know China is a very beautiful station. Go around this country university and see. And then go to Ghana and see whether you can compare them. Or go to South Africa, whether you can compare them. That is our struggle. Let our university, we call ourselves giants of Africa.
All right. So I'm saying now quickly, Prof, when do you think this strike can end? When should it end? Parents and the students are watching right now. When do you think this can end? This should end, actually.
As far as ASUU concerned, as far as ASUU, the strike can end tomorrow. Like I said, we are finished the negotiation. Let the government call us this night that we should come tomorrow to sign the agreement. We will be there and the last strike. Let the government tell us we have finished testing the UTAS. We have accepted it. By tomorrow, we'll call up the strike. So it's not in our hand. We are finished. We are just waiting. So challenge the government. When would they sign the agreement, number two? When would they accept UTAS? Those are the two questions we should ask the Nigerian government. When would they sign the agreement?
We need to go. Yeah.
Thank you.
But thank you so much, Professor Emmanuel Oshudeke. He's the president of ASUU. But tonight, this is one point that journalists like myself will take a stand and will perhaps pass a judgment. We do not care whose interest is covered or not covered right here on this particular matter between ASUU and the federal government. What is paramount is that students are at home. They say the idle hand is a devil's workshop. The government must get its act together. Education in Nigeria is deteriorating. ASUU needs to be listened to. ASUU needs to shift ground. Federal government needs to put things together and also make sure that these students get back to school. It is a must, and it should be done. That's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Kimale. Bye-bye.